From Nutrien Ag Solutions, this is Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Monday, July 11th, 2022. As promised, it was a very active, very stormy week across the Prairie, especially mid to late week. Several days of supercell thunderstorms producing large hail and a few very photogenic tornadoes, and none more stunning than this one near Blaine Lake, Saskatchewan on July 9th. This was photographed by Jeff Wisniak. This was his first tornado ever. Imagine this being the first tornado that you see. Great structure here. You see the updraft region of the supercell thunderstorm. You've got the rear flank downdraft coming around behind that, kind of carving out this clear area that you see right there. And then there's the tornado, off in the distance here with visually just a wonderful foreground there. This is the stuff that, as a severe weather nerd, that I really lust after, getting the opportunity to sit there and stare at out in the open. But let's talk about what this week's going to look like. It's a bit of a different flavor here. Still the opportunity for some storms, but not quite so bumpy, not quite so widespread across the Prairie as we head through the rest of the week. Now, temperatures on Monday morning, warmer in the east, 19 degrees here this morning across in Winnipeg, and then you head down to the lower teens as you make your way west toward Calgary. It's because we've got a storm system, an area of low pressure with a cold front kind of right there. Some breezy northwest winds today, bringing in a bit of a cooler and drier air mass to the Prairie. We can see that when we look at the infrared satellite picture here on Monday morning. You see that front. You see all the thunderstorm activity out ahead of that, making its way into parts of the Corn Belt here in the U.S. And then again, stronger northwest winds on the backside there. A bit breezy at times today, especially across Saskatchewan into southern Manitoba, bringing in that not only drier but a bit cooler air that we will see some warmer temperatures as we head through the rest of the week. Your radar here on Monday morning will get the glitch to fix there, and you can see an area of showers here moving off through the Winnipeg area. That area of showers will move on out over the next 18 to 24 hours. Now, what I want to do is take a look at last week. On the left, you see the 500 millibar height anomalies, kind of your jet stream pattern. On the right, you see the precipitation forecast. This is the forecast that I gave you last Monday for last week. What I want to do is compare the forecast from last week to this week and just notice the subtle changes in the ridge and what that does to the precipitation chances across the region. So heading into last week, we had this trough off the Pacific, subtle ridge here across the central U.S., strong jet stream flow coming across the Prairie. That gave us an active storm track here for ring of fire thunderstorm activity. Now, as we head into this week, it's very subtle. You see the change there? Last week, this week, last week, this week. This week, we kind of move the trough axis back to the northwest and expand it just slightly. So now the trough moves back to the west, the ridge is the bigger player, jet stream flow a little further north, precipitation activity goes a little bit further north. And what that means is a bit of a drier week across the Prairie with some more mild temperatures starting to nudge into the region. So the ridge expands slightly, a little warmer, a little drier this week. As we look at last week, though, again, as promised, very stormy, pockets of heavy rainfall here. Just about everyone had the chance of getting some showers, some storms. Hopefully just about everyone cashed in on at least a little bit of moisture there. And hopefully most of you avoided the severe weather there, the hail and the potential tornadoes as well, as you went through a very stormy last week. Now here's the jet stream wind flow, the wind speeds at 500 millibars, and I'll kind of pick out the changes in the pattern here. It's not as simple as what I showed you before, just the big broad ridge. Here's the storm system that's exiting right now, causing the showers and storms in southern Manitoba, extending down into portions of the Corn Belt, also bringing in that cooler air here. You see the northwest flow coming in on the backside, cooler air coming in on the backside of that frontal boundary. But we quickly let that ridge start building back in. Part of the reason is a trough off to the west across British Columbia that starts to lift north and east through the middle part of the week. So here we go. Here's some ridging. This is going to be a warmer and drier period here early this week. But then as we start to bring this trough eastward, we start to work those showers and storms back into the forecast. As this wave moves through, it's going to drag a frontal boundary across the Prairie that's going to spark at least isolated, maybe scattered shower and thunderstorm activity as it does so. This kind of opens the door then for additional storms to develop and kind of reintroduce that ring of fire pattern as we get later into the week. This is Saturday now. We're starting to kind of, bring the jet stream flow back into the Prairie such that we'll have the support for more organized shower and thunderstorm activity later on into the week and potentially early next week. Just verbatim from the European model, what we've got here, the precipitation forecast over the next 7 to 10 days. Again, precipitation, some showers, maybe a few storms getting out of southern Manitoba as we head through the rest of the day today. Going to be pretty dry, pretty mild for the day on Tuesday. Wednesday, we start to bring the chance for some showers and storms back into far northwestern portions of Alberta. This is, Grand Prairie, Peace River, maybe some showers and storms on Wednesday. This is when we then kind of eject this first trough that's going to drag a frontal boundary across portions of the prairie. That gives us the chance for isolated, maybe a few scattered showers and storms, most numerous near Highway 16. Coverage going to be a bit more sparse, more miss than hit as you head further south across the rest of the prairie. Highway 1 getting down toward the U.S. border. This is now Thursday. You see that frontal boundary making its way across the region. There it is right there. And then we reload. Here comes your next wave here Friday into Saturday. We start bringing in this pattern that's going to once again introduce scattered showers and storms across the region. This is getting into next weekend, getting into early next week. Of course, details, confidence going to be quite low. My main point is as we build the ridge in this week, we introduce warmer and drier weather, but I don't think this is a full, pivot to extended heat, extended drought across the region. I think it's a temporary introduction of some unseasonably mild temperatures. We'll see a few days here where temperatures soar above 30, but instead of getting prolonged days above 30 degrees, I think we'll see more in the way of a day or two above 30, then we get another shot of cooler air as a frontal boundary kind of sweeps through the region. Now, severe weather, how much energy do we have for that? Well, it's going to be similar to last week, where early on, not much. Maybe a strong storm or two later in the day across portions of southeast Manitoba. That's about it for the day on Monday, though. Tuesday, next wave lifts into portions of northwest Alberta. Maybe a strong storm or two, north of Calgary to Edmonton on Tuesday afternoon. Should be rather isolated in coverage, probably large hail your primary risk. As we get into Wednesday and beyond, that's when jet stream flow, we get these systems lifting north and east across the region. North of Highway 16 is where the actual, center of low pressure tracks, but with those frontal boundaries extending south from the area of low pressure in an increasingly volatile environment across the prairie, I do think we'll be talking about isolated, maybe widely scattered severe storms, by at least Wednesday evening into the rest of the week. So here's your instability here Wednesday evening, then we get into Thursday. Each of these frontal boundaries then having a bit more in the way of instability to work with. You see what happens here? Watch this. Here's your Wednesday. Then you get your Thursday. You get the front kind of pushing right here. Lots of instability out ahead of that. And then we reload. Watch this system exit here. This is Thursday. And then watch it reload. As that one exits, we start to pull that warm and unstable air back to the north and to the west. This is Friday then, kind of reloading with that chance for strong storms across the prairie. And then we could just drag this out. And the same thing kind of continues there where, again, not a full shutdown of this stormy pattern. I think we're going to be talking about severe storms across the prairie by midweek into the weekend and then again on into early next week. A point then, I want to pause. I haven't plugged this. When it comes to these severe weather risks, day by day, this is a nowcast situation where here Monday morning, I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday afternoon, who's got the best chance for severe storms, but you can follow along with that. If you haven't subscribed to the daily weather intelligence report that I send out for the Canadian Prairie, this is Monday through Friday. Early in the morning, you'll get this report with your precipitation, your temperature outlook, wind outlook, any severe weather risk. Head on over to info.nutrien.com/Pritchard_weather_CA, that link there at the top. Enter in your email. It's free. You get that report there every morning. And then you can stay in the loop with me every morning as to what I'm thinking about the more localized forecast. The video here on Monday, broad outlook for the week. The daily report, specifics for each day. So here's the forecast from the Euro. On the left, the GFS. On the right, you're just verbatim next 7 days of precipitation. Really similar pattern here. Again, you can see maybe the best corridor here north of Highway 16. Those, locally heavy rainfall events from some of the storms. This is not going to be a widespread soaking rainfall week, but there will be pockets of heavy rainfall, drier as you head toward the south. You see both models here, while they struggle to resolve thunderstorm activity, both of them, of course, hinting at the more isolated, the more miss than hit location to be southern Alberta into southwestern Saskatchewan here. Your probability from the ensembles, Euro on the left, GFS on the right, the probability of getting more than half an inch of rainfall between now and Sunday, July 17th. Again, the highest, region here, the best chance for soaking rains, the best chance for most numerous thunderstorms, It's going to be across portions of, Grand Prairie, basically north of Calgary to Edmonton, on into northwestern Saskatchewan. This is where thunderstorms will be most numerous. But again, as these areas of low pressure, kind of track from west to east across the region, I showed you all the instability that'll be building into the region with these frontal boundaries that kind of pass through the prairie. Those will spark scattered to, or isolated to widely scattered storms. So drier south, but still the opportunity for some of these strong storms. Again, temperature is going to be warming at times. We'll see surges of warmth, but again, as I mentioned, no prolonged, 5, 6, 7 days in a row with temperatures above 30s. Instead, here in Calgary, we're looking at a couple days here, maybe Tuesday, maybe Saturday, but you see the nature here. Each of these cold fronts sweeps through then, bringing the chance for storms and a reset with your temperatures. Edmonton, same thing, warming up to 30 on Tuesday. Front sweeps through, 23 on Wednesday, warming back up to 28 on Saturday. Front sweeps through, back down to 25 on Sunday. Very similar look. Here you go. There's your fronts. Those are going to be the days to give you your best chance for scattered storms across the region as these fronts sweep through and interact with that warm and humid air mass. Winnipeg, here's your next 10 days as well. Remember, go back and get subscribed to that email that I send out each morning. Stay in the loop here with me as we head through another potentially active and stormy late week across the Canadian Prairie with periods of warmer temperatures.